The lights are coming on. They go out and we go racing in China once again. Could be rain coming later on, but it's dry at this stage as Ronha gets the jump, Ronha gets the apex, and Ronha gets the lead. As Eldarim could not convert his pole to the lead of the race, not at the first turn. Yano Otmir's in third, Brendan Lee's in fourth, Danny Berezne putting the pressure on in the battle for fifth place, but it's Ronha who gains the lead as they head down to turn 6.
Great move from Ronha, wants to really sort of manage this race from the front. Bit of contact, I think, ahead there as we're riding on board with Tom Manley. The driver's just about managing to negotiate that one, but of course Ronha, the big winner there, leading away. And as we look at the tyres of the drivers out there, there are a couple of soft runners. Both of the Hasses have decided to go for soft tyres, the entire rest of the field on hards. You know, you look at that leaderboard, and for those that are watching, perhaps there are some friends that go, oh, how is F1 Sim Racing this year? Just take a screenshot of 18th, 19th and 20th and send that over to them, because that will give you all the information you need as to what is happening this season. It is utterly unpredictable whether these three will come through. It's going to be so difficult. But my God, I do love the fact that we have no idea.
I mean, some have argued we barely have any idea at the best of times. But this year, we're all in the same boat. It is really open. Freddie Rasmussen, our champion from last year. Lucas Blakely, a former champion. Is there a chance to go all the way around the outside for Otis Lawrence up against Brendan Lee? You're trying to do that at the hairpin. That is brave stuff if you're able to do it. Keep your eye on the Aston Martin up against the kick. Oh, yes! Did he manage to get through? He did! That is a bold move to fight your way from the hairpin to get ahead by the time you get to turn 16. Super stuff when it mattered. Brendan Lee trying to fight back, but Otis Lawrence making a name for himself in this championship. Danny Berezne is looking for the moment when the pendulum swings from being on the right tyre to the wrong tyre for the cars in front, and he's sending a look down the inside. Pinching to the apex first, then the Haas will get the inside line, trying to go past Crozen, a new name in the championship for 2025. And Danny Berezne's trying this multiple corner approach to get the apex for turn number 6. That's the corner we're heading to now. And is this the moment to turn it into a traction race and get ahead? Still, they run side by side.
Crucially for the Haas drivers, they've stayed ahead of the Mercedes right now. So, as we mentioned, Rasmussen, Blakely and Brumand at the back. Lap 1, turn 6 is where they all picked up front wing damage. So that's the reason why they are the bottom 3 at the moment. And that's going to cause a lot of problems for them moving forward into this race. What is interesting, there's a bit of a gap, isn't there, between Brendan Lee and then the cars behind.
The two Hasses.
Yeah, here we go then. So
it's out front again. Everyone getting very, very tight there. Zilderim under braking with Ronha tight, but they have no real interest in fighting each other and opening the door for the cars behind. We did see a change of lead at this stage of the race yesterday.
Brendan Lee's going to have to get on with it a little bit. He doesn't want to be broken away from. It's about 6-7 tenths the gap where you get the slipstream effect.
Otis Lawrence trying the long way round. Can he get to the apex first? 3 cars in the battle. Otmir putting the pressure on, looking for second place. And Zeldarim goes from looking and having aspirations of the lead to trying to keep a former champion behind him. Jarno Otmir looking for the move, newly signed to Red Bull, and he couldn't find his way through. And the top 4, they're close together, but they're in the same order that they started the lap.
Do you know who I think is best suited to do a Danny Berezne impression? Danny Berezne.
Is it Danny Berezne? I thought it might be.
Oh, change for the lead.
Here we go. This one's been coming for a while. Zeldarim takes back what he lost at the start. Ronha gets shuffled down to second, might be third. Could get worse for the driver who was leading. Otmar will get to second place, and it's first to third in a couple of corners for the man who'd led the entirety of the race. 7 tenths of a second. He's trying to break DRS. He won't do so. That gap's going to come down when they go onto this mammothly long straight that runs to over a kilometre. Gives us a chance to have a natter, really, as the driver goes up through the gears. Huge speed. And who's that coming to join the party at turn 14? It's going to be second place man Jarno Otmir. Had a much better qualifying session earlier on than he did in Melbourne. And now he's going to roar past. 7 tenths of a second disappears. He turns in on his competitor. It's pretty tight there. It's tighter than he wants to be. And Otmir is going to be our third different leader of the day. He sweeps in to turn 16 with P1 next to his name. And it's Otmir who takes the lead in China.
Fascinating stuff as Yildirim just has to keep his head at the moment as Ronha now shapes for a move on the inside into turn one, the long right-hander, but he has the inside line, and that'll be a done deal, unless Yildirim's actually lost another position now to Lawrence. Lawrence has seen the opportunity in the Aston Martin behind. I think they're side by side behind, as you can see right there, the battle for third place is on.
Well, the energy management is one thing, conservation is another, but that did not go to plan for Yildirim. He gave up the lead. I don't think he was against that. Maybe he wanted to drop down to second place, work together as a pack, but he did not anticipate dropping down behind Otis Lawrence. Otmir versus Ronha, first and second at the moment. Red Bull versus Kick. Otis Lawrence finds himself
That's a pit stop
in the Aston Martin, and in comes Lawrence for his first stop. Otmir and Ronha continue on, extending the stint.
I was about to say a point about Brendan Lee, in fact. He needs to make a decision. Does he go early, go for the undercut? Because he can't pit at the same time as Ronha, so he can't be on the optimum strategy that his teammate will be on. His teammate carries on. Does Brendan Lee peel into the pits? I think he does. So that is Brendan Lee into the pits for an earlier stop than his teammate. Where does he come out versus the likes of Lawrence and Gal, who have pitted a lap earlier? Here they come.
And they come into the pit. So Ronha coming into the pit lane. He's not the only one. Otmir continues out in the lead. We go on board with Otis Lawrence, who is really risking it, risking damage right about now. And as that goes on, Gal gets ahead. The driver who started on the soft tyres fights past Lawrence for what could be the net lead of the race.
The Brumman's fighting them very hard indeed because he's thinking about Nicholas Longate and to try and bring him into play. So that might well have scuppered everything. But Lawrence is still going to come out ahead of the whole field. Lawrence is in the net race lead.
Otis Lawrence with the net race lead. That is to say, if you're one of our newer viewers, that when everyone else stops and we cycle through, the time loss will promote the rookie driver in just his second start to P1. Why? Because he went to the fresh rubber first. The downside to that is that it's going to fade in the latter stages. And can Brendan Lee use all of his experience in his final ever F1 sim racing season to get by? The answer is yes, and that's the net race lead for Brendan Lee. Danny Bresnay comes in, and it is very tight between Thomas Ronha and Otis Lawrence as they fight their way by at the hairpin. As stops for Fassi, for Butcher, and for the man who is contending for the lead. That's Jarno Otmir, who's extended that stint by a long way. Another alternative strategy for Danny Bresnay out front. Nicholas Longate rising to second place. Istvan Pukki, how well did Mercedes call the strategy yesterday? They're running at the front. I was going to say first and third. You can change that. They're now 1 and 2. Otis Lawrence has got past Thomas Ronha. Thomas Ronha's got past Otis Lawrence, and they've both got past Brendan Lee.
Yes, so Brendan Lee's lost the net lead here.
Oh, no! Chaos at the hairpin!
That's Lee!
Contact, and that ruins the chances of Brendan Lee.
But you now have Thomas Ronha, who will be the net race leader. And other factors and other drivers to consider, of course, Jarno Otmir that we're taking a look at right now, making his way through on those freshest of medium tyres. And, okay, so was there contact between one of the Racing Bulls, I imagine Tom Manley, and Brendan Lee? I think we saw that a little bit late, but that was the contact there. I can't imagine Brendan Lee is spinning on his own with all of the experience that he has.
Yeah,
that was the contact.
Definitely a Racing Bull down the inside of the hairpin where you are late as you dare on the brakes. Longate's got back ahead of Pukki. That's a move for second place. Neither of these drivers have stopped yet. Who is your money on at this stage? Otmir trying to break everyone's hearts ahead. Otmir trying to do what he's done before and overtake a bunch of cars to take the win in China.
He loves it. He loves having the tyre delta. He knows how to make moves, and we're seeing it right here, right now. Up to P4. Next up is Crozen, as we have a bit of a problem there, I think, for Crozen in P3. We'll keep an eye on that one, but Otmir is now pretty much inside the Haas as he takes P3. I wouldn't be surprised if he clears Otis Lawrence, as we have fighting in the background. Brendan Lee trying to cling on those older medium tyres, with the likes of Danny Bresnay and Tom Manley behind. Bresnay clearing Manley there very nicely indeed, and you have to say it's probably going to be quite easy work for the Mercedes driver to get past his old teammate and rival, Brendan Lee. He's going to look to the outside here, does Danny Bresnay, and just later on the brakes, fresher tyres, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. The cameras are focusing on Fassi, who we cannot forget either, because he's on the same strategy as Jarno Opmeer in terms of the freshness of his medium tyres. It's chaos behind, as you would imagine. I think got Danny Beresnay shaping for a move as well, currently P9. But Opmeer,
now P8, back to where he was earlier on, but with that tyre offset, so he gets past our pole sitter, who reacted to the train and reacted
Opmeer
to the original strategy. Opmeer trying to upgrade third to second place. That's his aim. Can he do it under braking? This is so important, this second place, tactically, for the end of the contest. Otis Lawrence doesn't want to give it up. Will he have the opportunity? Race win on the line here. And Jarno Opmeer is on the verge of clearing another car. Cars that are absolutely everywhere at the moment. It still continues on with the race lead ahead. Opmeer doesn't need it at the moment. Where is the Aston Martin of Lawrence? He's been cleared. The Red Bull of Jarno Opmeer is up to second place. There you can see the tyre life, and there you can see the move to the inside, to the apex of the hairpin, looking for the race lead. Ronha versus Opmeer, side by side, with 25 points on the line. We send it into turn 16, and Opmeer knows that he's got time and corners to play with here.
something is happening over there.
So Fassi is up to third place. Danny Beresnay is up to fourth. Otis Lawrence drops down to fifth place. A straight fight between Opmeer, Fassi and Beresnay, and they're all trying to get past Ronha for the win.
Beresnay's turned into the hunter, and I think he's going to enjoy this one a little bit more because he really does think he's got another podium at the very least.
Oh, chaos! Chaos at the back of the field. Once again, we are seeing so many moments of contact at the hairpin, and it continues on. Joni Tormala is the driver we're focusing on. Tamas Gal is ahead of him. Pookie is in 11th. Zeldarim, having started from pole, now out of the points in 12th.
Oh, it's all unravelling now. Beresnay!
Here's the chance. The outside line to the inside line, but not the traction that he needs at this moment. Now he's got it. Now he's got a podium once again. And is Opmeer waiting for his moment? Can Beresnay turn it into a fight? If Ronha goes super aggressive, can Beresnay take advantage? A lot of questions I've posed there. Good news, we're about to get some answers. Down into turn one, change of lead attempted by Jarno Opmeer. Beresnay trying to place the car to take advantage. The second place is the crucial position heading on to the last lap. Jarno Opmeer gets the lead. He goes against the tactical advice that we heard before the start of the race, and it's Opmeer with the lead on the penultimate tour.
Strap yourselves in, because here comes Ronha once again into turn one. Opmeer's defensive on the inside. Does Ronha try and sweep all the way around the outside? Beresnay watching, waiting for the opportunity, but it is Opmeer still ahead.
Look at the intensity etched on the drivers' faces as they do the long kilometre run down to the final real braking zone that will decide things. Here we go, on board with Ronha. Can he get there? No, the apex is blocked. Brilliant late braking from Opmeer, who might have judged that one to perfection. He gets to the final corner in the lead, and Jarno Opmeer will cross the line and take the win. It's Opmeer, then Ronha, then Danny Beresnay, your podium. Jarno Opmeer is a winner in sim racing for the 13th time. He's taken the checkered flag in China. So many drivers continuing their really strong form from yesterday, others with a great performance. And Jarno Opmeer, confirmation that he has taken the win. Opmeer in P1 ahead of Ronha and Danny Beresnay, the podium. Ishmael Fassi with 12 more points to his tally. Then Alfie Butcher ahead of Otis Lawrence, who's disappointed to see his chance of a maiden podium in the championship disappear. Longue, Pookie, Ido and Tormala complete your top 10.